Welcome to Ngosti Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ngosti Talk Show. Find your own voice. Lead from within. Over to you, Carol Ann. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah. Good afternoon from London and wherever you might be in the world. I'm Carol Ann, and as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support soul-driven entrepreneurs in becoming more productive with their writing by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within, getting their story written, getting their book written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. So it's allowing them to have that courage to speak and write what's there to be written and said. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So I'm Carol Ann, the writing facilitator, helping you unlock the writer within. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol Ann. Over to you, Amanda. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Amanda Cottrell. I'm the founder of Art, Mindfulness, and Creativity. I'm also a teacher. And what I do is I help people find their own unique creative capacities within themselves, because I believe that everyone is creative and we just need to unlock our own creativity within ourselves, whether it's through art or through technology or through building. We all have our own unique creativity that we can unlock and find within ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda and Carol Ann. So our topic today is, do you have the courage to speak your truth? Basically, some people, they want to follow their dreams. They want to do the things that they want to do. They say, I'm going to wait until I finish this. I'm going to wait until I do this. I'm going to wait. Or some people are simply afraid of being judged by other people. Basically, but we are being judged every single day. So basically, for me, with the topic, the reason why I chose the topic basically is, if you have a message that you want to send around the world, why are you waiting? Not sending that message? Why are you afraid for anyone judging you? Because we live in this judgmental world or judgmental community. So you might as well, if you have a message that you want to send to the world, speak your truth. Learn that message. Speak it unapologetic, and be prepared for the consequences. The consequences are, people will judge you. But how are you going to respond when you are being judged? If you go with the people that are judging you, that means you don't believe in your message. But if you believe in your message, when somebody is judging you, you'll be saying thank you for that. I'll put that on board. I'll take that on board, and it will help me to improve whatever I'm doing around the world. So over to you, Carol Ann. Please, can you explain the topic to our audience in your own opinion?
Yeah, I love this, do you have the courage to speak your truth? Well, I didn't used to. I used to hold it back because there was all this thoughts in my head. Well, what are they going to say? They're going to call me a liar. They're going to say, well, have you got proof? Or, question me. And so I would play the scenario over in my head, think, well, how could I respond? And I'd just end up not saying anything. So it wasn't until I heard someone say, but you what you talk about is the truth for you. It got me thinking. My truth is my truth. What is true for me doesn't make it the universal truth. And therefore, nobody can actually question you. Nobody can, say, well, you're wrong, because it's my truth. So therefore, I'm not wrong. I'm not saying it's the whole truth and that's it, which therefore, yes, they could come back and say, well, no, you're wrong. That's not right. But when you're talking about your own truth, they can question you if they wish to, but they can't make you wrong. And that's where all of a sudden it felt, oh, okay. And then it helps you to actually speak about it in a different way. So it's actually about how you think about it in your mind. This is the truth for me. This is how I see it. This is how I experienced it. This is what I heard. And I know that that's helped in many a conversation when instead of saying, but you said this, I've said, but this is what I heard you to say. They can't argue with that. That's what I heard. It might not be what they said, and which is great. They can then come back and say, but that's not what I said. And you can then have a conversation. But with me saying, this is what I heard, they can't make me wrong. And therefore the conversation can open up in a much more of a dance way rather than, knocking heads, which often happens when someone says, but you said this, and they'll go, no, I didn't. That doesn't get you anywhere. So yeah, it is about reframing it and speaking it from here, your experience. So that has allowed me to now actually speak more about my truth, speak about things that have happened to me, and what's been going on. Sometimes there's a sort of a question that comes up and think, well, can I speak about that? Because there's clearly, sometimes there may be family members or there's friends that, is it the right moment to speak it? So it's thinking in that way as well. But at the end of the day, your truth is your truth. And yeah, nobody can tell me I'm wrong. I go, yeah, thank you. So yes, I'm finding a bit more courage in just sitting and speaking and saying what is here for me and what I know and what I've learned. So great topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol. And over to you, Amanda, please. What does the topic mean to you?
I was thinking about this topic in terms of boundaries sometimes too, and sometimes when you speak your truth, you are actually setting some boundaries within what works for your life, and what works for your life may be very different for other people's lives. And I think about this with terms of relationships too, and if you're not speaking your truth about your relationship, then you end up having difficulties later on, or you end up self-sacrificing in order to maintain a relationship when you're not speaking your complete truth. And I think that's something that's really important. So often behind relationships we hide our truth because we're scared that the other person might leave, or that they won't accept you. And I think that's that. But then when you're hiding yourself, you're really like self-sabotaging in the end, and you'll end up blocking. If you believe in the chakras, you'll block your throat chakra, and you won't be able to have to be able to speak your truth. And I think that's something I know I struggled with for a very long time, was being able to speak up for myself and set clear boundaries. And even with what's going on with COVID right now, I was thinking about this topic in terms of that, and that there's the, like, in Canada anyways, where I live right now, there's like the vaccines being forced down everybody's throat, and it's like, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine. And my opinion is that you need to do what's right for you. You have like a choice. You have an educated choice to make on whether you get it or not, but it shouldn't be forced, and you shouldn't be like peer pressured into getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine. What you really need to do is sit with your own self and figure out, is there enough testing for me to be able to feel comfortable getting this and putting it in my body? Or do I want to just wait a bit and figure that out? And you need to really, really sit with yourself and figure that out. And I don't think anybody's wrong in their choices for what they do in terms of getting this vaccine. But I think it's a really hard topic right now, because so many people are so opinionated about whether you should get it or not get it. And I think right now you really need to sit with yourself and speak your truth on that topic, because whether you get the vaccine or not get the vaccine,
Amanda, your
really
mic is quiet. Carol Ann, is she quiet to you?
I can hear, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better? What you really need to do is sit with yourself and figure out what's best for you in this situation completely, and in relationships as well.
I think that's a very good point, because there's been so much shutting down of people speaking their truth of what they've been finding as they've been looking into this topic. And I know people who have had, accounts shut down because they've been saying something, and it just seems that it's a one-way street of information that we're being given to us. And so what is wrong with us speaking our truth and looking into it? And I totally agree with you, Amanda. We know our own bodies, and it is about us learning about our own body, learning about our own health. How is the best way that we can be healthy? How can we boost our own immune system? Where are we a bit depleted? And really getting to know our own bodies, and the fact that we have this amazing, amazing system within it called an immune system that is totally compromised. We are always, it's been suppressed so much. Is it any wonder that we pick up things very quickly? And so, yeah, there's education to be had, rather than this is a tunnel visioned, this is the only way. It is about respecting everybody's opinion and ability to research and know what is best for their body, and understand this. So absolutely. My question is, why, or for what reason, are people being shut down in speaking out against having to go a certain way? For what reason are we being forced in this direction? You've got to do this, you've got to do this. And only fed really one what's it I'm looking at? It's like it's a tunnel visioned, to me, a tunnel visioned view, rather than, wow, there's all of this that we could look at, Why can't we explore it? Why are we not seemingly allowed to? Because that's how it occurs to me, you know. Yeah. So some great points there, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda, for talking about vaccine and Carol Ann. I basically had the vaccine. For the reason why I had the vaccine, I've had 2 of them, is because it was my choice that I'm going to have the vaccine. I know that the scientists haven't got a clue what is going on, and the doctors are guessing as they go along with the virus. And I've seen people who last year they had a normal life, but today some of them, they're not able to walk because of the virus. Like my daughter's school, her teacher, she's in year 1 now, her reception teacher, she was fine last year, but I saw her the other day, she couldn't walk, and that broke my heart. And I just feel that I know around the world the people are speaking their truth, but the truth is no one has a right to force anyone to say you need to have this. If you don't have this, this is what we're going to introduce this because you are refusing. We don't have a right to say that to people. And the people that are sending message, they don't have a right to say the vaccine, no one can have a vaccine. I'm talking about in a spiritual way, because the coronavirus, if anyone didn't know, it is spiritually. It's real, but it is spiritually. But is vaccine gonna help? I don't know. Myself, I don't know. But I know that it is a spiritual thing, because the head is the symbol of your destiny. If you do research with the science or everything is spiritually, this is the symbol of your destiny. Your brain, your ears, everything is connected to the brain. But the virus, the coronavirus, it attacks the brain only. And then the whole body, because once the body shut down, everything shuts. So that's why if you do some research, what does the head represent? It's like the hand, there's everything that every body part represent. But the virus specifically attacks these. That's why some people have to go to coma and things like that. So for me, and doing my own research based on NOMSA, and saying to myself, spiritually, I do not want Lucifer killing me. But at the same time, I don't know whether the vaccine is going to work or is not going to work. And I don't have a right to say to anyone, you need to have the vaccine or you can't have. Those are the words that I have learned the hard way, that I don't have a right to say that. And I believe that these people that have been shut down, if you look at my WhatsApp, basically people are sending messages telling the world that don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But guess what? What people don't know is this thing is doing the work. Basically, this virus is attacking people. If you bring the evidence, I like somebody who brings the evidence. There are some people that were bringing the evidence, saying the medication are behind the counter, but that medication was pushed away. And that, to me, that is the evidence that it can help people. There were doctors that were saying, and that is the evidence. And so what Amanda has talked about, I think that is a big, big point, that we don't have a right, basically. We have a right to speak, like Carol Annie said, we speak our own truth because that's what we believe in. But we don't have a right to say to somebody else, you can't speak it. So anyone that is speaking about not having a vaccine, they have a right to say that. I'm not going to have a vaccine. And I salute them and say, you have a right to say that. Does the government have a right to say, if you don't have a vaccine, I'm going to stop you doing this? No. Over to you, Carol Ann.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think it's deep waters here, isn't it?
Yes.
It stirs up so much. And when you play on people's fear, then they're not in the part of the brain that can actually think rationally. They're in the reactive part of their brain. And so they're not really hearing fully, because actually in that part of the brain you don't have access to language either. It is just pure reaction. So you shut people down into fear and they're just reacting. Really, it's allowing people to be in the part of the brain which is the higher cortex here. It's moving up through the emotions and accessing this part of the brain, which is where the reasoning and the logic and the response is. It's where you can respond rather than react, and you can actually have make your own choices. But again, you were saying about the information out there, but is all of it out there? And I think this is what's also come up. Are we being fed certain things? Have we actually got all of the information that we need? Or are we just being given bits so that, again, it channels us down a certain avenue? And that's, that for me is how do you find out all of the truth about this? How can you really, where can you go to get the truth, to really understand this? And as you say, they don't fully know and understand what this virus is about. And I certainly don't think they fully understand the impact of what the vaccine is going to do long term, or even en masse. You know, all of a sudden, everybody, so many people being vaccinated like this. Well, what's the impact there? So, it's a lot of questions. And one of the things that I really want to question is, why is it that natural remedies kept being squashed down, keep being pushed aside, you know, questioned, and said, well, they don't have enough testing. They've been around a lot longer than this solution that they're now presenting us with. Do you know what I mean? So, deep waters stirs up a lot. And again, it's about allowing yourself to speak your truth. Do you have the courage to stand up and say, what is the truth for you about this? For me, I don't think it's had enough testing. And I prefer to look at all the natural things that are out there, the natural remedies, and working with your body. You know, different therapies that can actually support your body. Like you say, that teacher that had COVID and is left with not being able to walk. There are ways of working with the body. You know, she's still alive. She has a life. Maybe there's some lessons here to learn. When you start looking at it in that way and working with the body, speaking to the body and saying, well, what actually is going on here? And what do we need to look at? What part of the brain-body connection do we need to look at? What energetically is there here to be cleared in a different way? There are so many ways of working with the body to help bring back mobility, to bring back function, even bring back, you know, brain functioning. It has been shown that the brain has got plasticity I can't say the word, plasticity, you can rewire it. So how about exploring that? I heard the other day, again, it's like you hear different stories, but I actually heard the other day that a friend of someone I know, they had a vaccine, their first jab, a very healthy person. They got a blood clot. They're now dead. And it has actually been said, it has been connected. They've actually admitted that it was a result of them having the jab. They got the blood clot. How many of those are we starting to hear? And, how many more are going to start coming out? I don't know. But that person actually does know they're not here anymore. But again, is it part of their life's journey? One of my questions is that I ask myself, well, were they destined to die anyway? And that was just something that maybe has brought up a question. It's part of the whole questioning process. So I then acknowledge and stand in gratitude for an opportunity to look and to learn from this and start asking questions, and grateful for that person, what happened, because it started to bring up questions. And maybe that was their life's purpose. How do we know? It's just, again, it's something I look at rather than making things wrong. There's a reason this virus is with us. And are we actually learning the lessons? Because different strains of it keep popping up here and there. What stops it going away? What actually stops it? It's as if we're attempting to force something. Got to go, you got to go, we'll clear it, got to stop this. And it's going, no, I'm coming up again. No, I'm here in a different way. Because maybe there are some real serious lessons here for us to learn as a whole, as a humanity, that would help for then that virus to then just go into the background and we can move on. That's just my way of looking at things. Yeah.
What do you think, Amanda?
Well, I think about like my whole focus through this whole pandemic has been mental health. As a teacher and as a parent, my focus has just been like, how can I help my daughters and my mental health and my students' mental health through this entire thing. And I was just reading an article yesterday, actually written by a 13-year-old, on what it's been like for them to be in school and not in school, and in school but it not having any of the things that make school really fun, like sports teams and pep rallies and all of the things that make school. And I think people are starting to speak out more now, saying like, hey, like these things are being overlooked, like our mental health. Like she was saying, like the adults are not paying attention to the needs of children, and I completely agree with her. And so my focus this entire time has been on making sure that we're keeping our life as normal as possible and focusing on our mental health. So like still meeting friends at the ski hill and going for hikes with friends and doing things outside where we're able to have those things that allow us to still feel human and alive and enjoy our lives. And I think that's one thing, like that's joy has been taken out of so many people's lives because the things that they've enjoyed have been taken away because of the restrictions. And I think that's something that we really need to look at is what are we speaking our truth about what our true needs are, and what our needs are as humans. And so what are your needs as humans? Well, we're social beings, so I think that you need to find some way to be social in this time, whether it's having a very close cohort, or whether it's making connections like via FaceTime or whatever, we still need to make a priority for those things, and to speak our truth about what we truly need. And the article that I read about the 13-year-old and how she was feeling like that people aren't listening to kids and about what they truly need, it really was like heartfelt to me, because I know from a teacher's perspective that there's a huge increase in children's depression right now because they're not being heard. They're not. Parents and policymakers are just saying, no, we just need to do this for a little while, and then we'll be able to get back to normal life. But it's been over a year, and the kids still are saying, like, I need to play with my friends, I need to be in school, I need, like, back where I live right now, kids are learning online again, hopefully just for 2 weeks, but the whole province is learning online again, and I see it in my students. They're look so tired in the mornings, and that they really need to speak out and say what they need. And I ask them, like, what is it that I can do to make online learning easier for you? But too, like, I know they just want to get back in the classroom and see their friends and play on the playground, and I know that this has been really, really hard, especially for people who are missing those other basic needs that we have of socialization, because socialization is a basic need that is being overlooked through this. And I think that your socialization basic needs are different, because some people are introverts and they're totally fine with staying at home all the time. Some people are extroverts, and we have different levels of need to socialize. And I think that people need to speak out for what they need, especially right now, and how they can adjust to what they need. So instead of like having friends over for dinner, maybe you're meeting people out for a walk, or doing something that is a combination of what the rules are, and what your need, how you're meeting your basic needs of getting out and being social still. And maybe your basic need is just to connect with somebody online, but maybe you need a real human connection too, and you can find ways around it where you're able to go out for walks or for bike rides, or whatever it is that is meeting those needs, especially for children. I think that's really important, to speak your truth within what your needs are, and to be able to say what your needs are in this situation and in relationships as well. I think that's something that so often in relationships we hold back what we truly need out of fear, and unless we speak our truth, then it's just going to cause problems later on. And so I think when people start to speak their truth about what they truly need in relationship, that it's such an important step in healing for both people in the relationship. Because if you're not speaking your truth, then you're hiding who you truly are, and you need to speak your truth in order to heal your life from your past traumas. And so I think that that's something that's really important in relationship, and in the situation with the world right now, is speaking up for what you truly need, not necessarily what you believe in, but what those essential needs are for you, to feel loved, to feel cared for, to feel balanced, and to feel grounded, and to just ward off of those things like depression and anxiety. And right now it's really hard to find a balance between those.
I like what you were saying about the lack of joy, that joy has been sort of sucked out of this, and the socialization aspect, but it's that human need to get together and have some fun. And I was watching the football match at the weekend. It was Leicester versus Liverpool. Just happened, it was on because my grandson was watching it, so not something I would normally watch, but I was watching it and realizing, oh, this is live, this is happening now, and beginning to make it wrong, because I'm thinking, looking at all these people that are there together, and thinking, well, how can this be right? But as I was watching it and towards the end of it and at the end, this sense of joy, this celebration, the energy that was there, I was thinking, maybe this is what is now needed for us to overcome this virus. Maybe that bring that joy in, that celebration, togetherness, that, you know, a whole load of people together celebrating and having fun. Just think what it was doing for everybody, to their immune system in that moment. That joy. And it was tremendous. I could feel it in myself. I was like, wow, you know, it was just amazing. So yeah, it's how can we bring that joy back in? Is there something as simple as that could help us overcome this whole, you know, what's been going on? Because it has been sucked out, hasn't it? But yeah, that was, I stopped making the whole thing wrong after, you know, once I started seeing that side of it, you know, that football game, and seeing that the celebration and the sheer joy that was there, and excitement in that moment. And the, you know, as the game was going on and they scored, it was 1-0 to Leicester, and then Liverpool scored a goal, and then it got disallowed. But it's all those emotions going on, and then just the, you know, can they get it back at the end? But you know, Leicester still won. But there was that celebration. It wasn't I didn't feel any from any side. It was just like there was joy, just joy. I think at being there, being able to watch a match, watch the whole. What's the word? You know, when I guess it's that competition that, you know, whose side's going to win. It just, yeah, it was an amazing thing to feel. And I'm so glad I watched, you know, the last bit of it to see that. So let's bring back joy to the world. You know, that's what we need.
We do need joy. We do need joy in our lives. We do need joy. I think basically for me, the way I see it is, you know, based on the topic, if someone has a truth that they need to share with the world, like Amanda, she's talking about depression, and Carol Ann, you're talking about football. That is a joy that has been stripped away. People feel that that joy has been stripped away from them because of the lockdown and because of the virus. So there are some people who knows why we are going through. And I remember I spoke to my brother a few months ago because I did my own research with the virus, and I said to him, if you guys know, if I can see what is going on and you guys know what is going on, why are you guys not sharing it with the world without worrying about people judging you, because that is speaking the truth? And I know there's one doctor in America that was speaking the truth, telling people about what is coronavirus and how they can treat it. Very, very simple. But then if this is a spiritual thing that is also mind control as well, so that means that people are being controlled how to treat the virus, which is completely, it might be completely in a wrong way. So I said to my brother, why don't you guys share it with the world if you guys know what is going on? Because when you speak your truth, and in knowing that that is your own truth, you don't have to worry about people judging you. You have to be prepared to pay the price, like what we're doing here at Ngozi Talk Show each and every day. We are speaking our own truth. It doesn't mean that somebody else has to believe what we are saying. So it doesn't mean they also have a right to judge us, even if they do, because we had lots of incident, people claiming the material and stuff, but they don't have a right to do that. So if you are a human being and you know that you're on earth, like there's people that are suffering, Amanda was saying, people as children are suffering with the depression. I find that there's someone out there who has a voice to speak. Before, people wouldn't speak about mental health problems. But now, because of the virus that is affected people mentally, people are actually speaking up. They're able to speak up. They're able to say, okay, I'm not okay, which is before it was a stigma. So for me, what I'll say is based on the topic, if somebody has a message that you want to share it with the world, don't underestimate your gift, your words. Just speak it. Speak your truth. It doesn't matter whether people judge you, they don't, or they don't, because at the end of the day, when you speak your own truth, that means you are prepared for the outcome of that message. So which is something that Ngozi Talk Show, for me personally, when I started Ngozi Talk Show, I knew I was prepared to be judged. When I went to every group looking for speakers, and people were like, you want people from Ngozi Talk Show? I was like, yes. And they were like, we don't even want to basically talk about what we think about Ngozi Talk Show. And I was like, I didn't ask for the opinion. I put a message to say I'm looking for speakers. And I remember there's some people that were writing back and saying, you don't even want us to comment about what we think. Basically, what they were telling me that they are actually better than Ngozi Talk Show. They speak in better stages than Ngozi Talk Show. These are normal people. And, when you actually send a message, if you are somebody who is sending a message, I'm going to say this to anyone. It doesn't matter which background you come from. I brought to Reality 7 on Ngozi Talk Show. When I actually approached the Reality 7, they didn't judge me, but they are famous in South Africa. They are a big band who are famous. They didn't judge me. They were like, okay, when do you want us to come to you? What do you need from us? Because basically their job is to speak their truth by using gospel, by preaching. So that's what they do. And they didn't judge me. They were like, okay, Nomsa, tell us more about you and Ngozi Talk Show. What does Ngozi Talk Show do? And I just told them about Ngozi Talk Show. And they were like, okay, what time? It's locked down. What time do you want us? When do you want us? Tell us the date. But they didn't judge me. But it's simple. If those speakers or whatever coaches, if they judge me, if I would have said, okay, I'm giving up, I'm not going to continue with the Ngozi Talk Show. So what I'm trying to say to you is, for those who are watching, just send your message, just speak your own truth. People are going to judge you anyway. Be prepared for the outcome, the consequences. The outcome is the consequences. When we are doing this video, there are consequences for it. So you have to be prepared for it. So which is why when I went to get my vaccine, it was never somebody pushing me. It was my decision. I was like in the house, I'm just going to go and have a vaccine. And Martin was like, the doctors called him and they were like, are you coming to have a vaccine? And he said to me, I'm thinking about it. And I was like, that's a good choice. I didn't say, oh no, you've got to do this, because if you don't do this, there's going to be this. I was like, okay, baby, you think about it. Because at the end of the day, we all have that thing Carol Anna was saying, it's a choice. No one has the right to tell us what we can't do or what we can. So if you have a voice, speak it. Unapologetic. Over to you, Carol Ann. Oh, Carol Ann, you're muted.
Yeah, unapologetic. Yeah, I muted myself because there's a lot of noise outside and I wasn't sure if it could be heard. So, yeah, speak your truth, unapologetic. I like that word, unapologetic. And I think that sometimes we do apologize, don't we? We sort of go, oh, I'm sorry. Is it like a, yeah, it comes over like you're apologizing for what you're saying. Be unapologetic. This is what I'm saying. This is my truth. And change your body. It's the body posture, isn't it? You feel that difference between this and this. And, you know, if you find that you're hunching up, you're actually closing up your throat chakra. As Amanda was saying, you know, we have our chakras, and this one here is our throat chakra. You're closing it up. Open up. Open it out. Focus on it. Giving it, energizing it, and letting it, you know, allow you to speak, and to speak, you know, what's there to be said, whatever that truth is for you. And be able to hear. And I think the important part about this is actually being aware of how what you have said has landed with other people. And be open to having a conversation, be open to listening to what is said without judgment. Because if you're not wanting to be judged for what you're saying, then don't judge others. Listen, hear what they've got to say, but don't take it personally. You know, if you find yourself being reacted by it, or, you know, triggered in some way, then it's because you've made it mean something. Take away that meaning. They say what they say. They respond or react in the way they react. And just be here with your truth, and just be open to exploring, you know, what is actually going on. I think that's the important thing, because it, you know, it will land, and it may not be how you meant it to land, but it will land in whatever way it does. And so there is the consequence. There is what you need to face. And I think that is the courage. What having the courage to speak your truth is about. It's having the courage to see how it lands, to see what the response or reaction is, what comes back. Face it and be with it and speak, and have a conversation about it, you know. That's the courage, and still stay, you know, in your truth. But it is, you know, listen. There's being flexible and there's being rigid. It's not about being rigid. It's about listening, being open, being flexible, willing to learn, and move on from there. So, yeah, don't ever apologize. Don't ever apologize for speaking your truth. There's no need. Yeah.
I was gonna just add on to that too. I think that at certain times in your life, your truth can change too, in as you grow and as you learn, and things that you were okay with before, you may not be okay with as you grow. I know when I was younger, I used to drink, and then as I got older, I decided that that wasn't going to be part of my life anymore. And so when I spoke that truth to people that I know, some people didn't want to be in my life anymore, and that's okay, because I stand in who I am, and the choices that I've made. And the reason that I had chosen that truth was because it didn't really fit in what my lifestyle had become when I began to focus on yoga and mindfulness and meditation and my art, my spirituality. My truth became that didn't align with my truth anymore. So going out and drinking didn't align with my truth anymore, and that's okay for me. I don't tell anybody else that they can't drink other than like around my child, but I think that people need to make those decisions for themselves, and that may change as they grow. I know a few people who have decided that they just that drinking wasn't part of their life anymore, and they just like changed what their truth was and spoke their truth. And I know that sometimes when you do make changes like that in your life, there are people who won't understand and who will judge you for it, and you need to just find a way to let it go and to not worry about it, and to stand in your truth of what you truly believe that is going to work for you. Not that you have to change what somebody else's behavior, because you can't. You can never change someone else's behavior, but you can change how you react to them, right? And so when you're speaking your truth about whether you want to, even in a marriage, when a marriage isn't going well and you decide to leave, you're speaking your truth of what you need, and being able to speak up for what's missing in your life, and what you need to search for and heal. And some people will judge you if you decide that your marriage is no longer working and you leave. And sometimes those situations are so hard, especially with friendships where they don't understand why you've made the decisions that you've made. But when you know for yourself with every like ounce of your body that you're making the right decision for you, don't let somebody else convince you otherwise or make you second guess yourself. Because I think that oftentimes when you do step out and you finally feel powerful enough to speak your truth, sometimes other people can come in and make you feel small, and you take a step back, and you go back into that people-pleasing mode. And so many people who are not speaking their truth are in that people-pleasing mode, where they think that if they help other people, then they'll be fulfilling what they need to fulfill. But really, what it comes down to in the end is speaking your truth so that you are fulfilled. And when you are fulfilled, then when your cup is full, that's when you can truly help others. And I think that's something that we really need to think about, is how can we fill our own cup so that we have extra to give to other people. And in order to fill our own cup, we have to be honest with who we are and speak our own truth, so that we can then go and help others speak their own truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda. I actually agree with you. Basically, I was raised by my grandmother. When I'm saying I was raised by my grandmother, my parents worked. Basically, they were there, but they worked. So she looked after us when they were working. And my grandmother used to tell me, you need to speak your truth. And also, you need to understand that when you tell lies about people, it would destroy you and it would destroy somebody else. So she used to say, when you hear somebody speak, whatever you've had, leave it there. Don't take it to somebody else. Don't repeat it. Or somebody comes to you and tell you something in confidence, don't tell somebody else, because that person is trusting you with that information. And when you go and tell somebody else, that means you're betraying that person that told you that information. And I think I was 9 or 10 years old when she used to preach these things. I'll be like, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I remember it now. She used to say, speak your truth. And with my family, they come to me, and somebody will come to me, and there's some people that tell you what they want to. They ask you something, but they want you to tell them what they want to hear. So for me, when a member of my family or friends, they come to me and they want something, they ask something, I speak my truth. And I also have to say, what do you think yourself? You have to evaluate it yourself. So I help them find the answer without me telling them what to do. Or if they come to me and say, or somebody will go and buy something and it looks ridiculous, and they ask you, do you like what I'm wearing? I'm like, but it looks ridiculous, but you like it yourself. So, and they're like, and I'm like, but what do you think yourself? Do you like it or not? And they're like, not really. So I'm like, why are you asking me then if you don't like it? So you want me to say I like it? Because you can see the body language when somebody's buying something, they're not sure, and they're bringing it home, and they're wearing it, and they are not sure either, and they come to you, they want you to tell them lies, and I'm like, but you already know the truth. And they're like, they call me bonkers in my family anyway, because I just speak my own truth. I basically, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not in a position to judge anyone, but I speak my truth. If you come and ask me, I speak my own truth. So over to you, Carol Ann. Any words of encouragement that you would like to give to our audience before we leave?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just be in your heart and be true to your heart. Really feel what's true for you, and speak from there, not from here, but from your heart. Yeah, that's what really came to mind then.
Thank you. Speak from the heart.
Yeah.
Don't make it wrong. Those are the words that I remember, Carol Ann. I was in church on Sunday, and there was this one of the girls. She wasn't happy with something, so I just used your words. I said it's okay not feeling good. It is okay. Don't make it wrong. I said, if somebody said to me, don't make it wrong. If you don't feel okay, I'm not gonna judge you. It's okay to feel that way. So thank you so much, Carol Ann. Over to you, Amanda. Any words of encouragement you'd like to leave with our audience?
I think that sometimes it takes a lot of courage to be able to speak your truth, and for when you finally do speak your truth, that you need to be really proud of the advances that you've made, because so many people step back and make themselves small and don't actually step into their own true power. And when you do begin to take those steps, that even though they may be very scary, it actually is very empowering in the end to start to speak your truth and to start to empower who you are. And it's really important for your own mental health to take those steps and not hold back, and to speak your truth, but from a kind perspective too, right? We don't need to speak every thought that comes into our minds, but when it is something that you are really grounded in, that I think that when you truly do step out and take that first step, it can be scary, but in the end it will be very empowering, and you need to trust that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda. For me, I just leave with you guys, with these guys. Have the courage to speak your own truth. Like what Carol Ann was saying, speak it from the heart, from a loving place. When you speak something from a loving place, that means you are not afraid of being judged. Amanda, she just said, not just every thought that comes out of your mouth and having the mind of, I don't care. No, we have to speak from a loving thoughts, loving your words. Basically, the words that you speak, they become you. So don't be afraid. If there is a message that you want to share with the world, don't say, I'm going to do this. I need to qualify first, and then I'm going to do it. Just do it. A few years later, you'll be amazing. You won't know basically the progress. I went to Andy Harrington, and everyone was like, you have to take the course to speak and things like that. But then I was like, yes, speaking on stage, if someone is teaching me, is fine. But if I go and learn how to speak, basically like acting, because Andy Harrington does the acting bit where basically professional. But when you do that training, you still have to make it your own. because if you keep it, then everyone is going to recognize you. This one was trained by Andy Harrington. So that's why I'm saying yes. Some people say, I'm going to wait, but some people are fortunate they have money to go for training, which is amazing. But if you don't have money, in front of the mirror is the perfect place to practice everything and share it from a loving and caring place, a heart, like Carol Ann say. So we are here Monday to Friday in Ghosty Talk Show. Please, if you watch this message and you like it, press some heart button and share it with your friends. And please follow us on YouTube as well. We are on YouTube, guys. God bless you and live with grace, everyone.